Kototama. The final sound is In Yamato Kotoba, there were no words that started with Also, we can find onomatopoeia. However, as a Kototama, shows one unity and has the power to quickly connect to the next stage. Kototama-wise, the next stage is from spirit to the substance, from subjectivity to objectivity, from subject to object, and from words to letters. The pronunciation method is to close your mouth, put your breath into the nasal cavity, and breathe out from your nose. In the past, we used to write mu reading The letter doesn't exist until the 20th century, because was mu, which is nothing. There are many shrines in Japan. At the shrine, there are guardian lion and guardian dogs in front of the main hall. The lion stands for A, and the guardian dog stands for N. In other words, A indicates beginning and N indicates end. And passing between them promotes the awareness that we are alive now. Follow the road between the guardian lion and dogs and make a wish to the god at main hall. Furthermore, when entering the shrine, there is a torii, which is a shrine gate at the entrance. The road continues from it to the main shrine, which is called Sando, and has the same pronunciation as the verse canal. The main shrine is called the Miya, which is also said to be related to the uterus. Kototama-wise, Kami means God of Japan in the physical world. It refers to a God symbol or image, a mirror, etc. But in the spiritual world, it means potential interchange. Many Japanese shrines have a mirror in front of the God symbol. You can see yourself there when you pray. By interchanging you with yourself in the mirror, you will encourage to identify how you are now. In other words, God is in yourself interchanged, and it's important to look back on yourself. The etymology of Kagami, which is mirror, is to see your reflection. In ancient Japan, the shadow was called Kaga. Shadow means a state in which the actual condition and its projected object are appropriately interchanged. To summarize the above, how to pray originally at the shrine is at the first passing between A and N to become aware of your own living, and then passing through the torii gate, going through the Sando road, and reaching the main shrine with the feeling of an innocent baby or child. And finally, you will reflect yourself in the mirror of the main hall and look back at yourself. Then, as a result of the ancestor examining and making full use of arrangement of the Japanese syllables, the best one is the arrangement I introduced so far. In other words, there are 5 types of flow operation, like this pattern. Pattern 1. A, ta, ka, ma, ha, ra, na, ya, sa, wa. Pattern 2. ichi, ki, mi, hi, ri, ni, i, shi, i. Pattern 3. E, te, ke, me, he, re, ne, e, se, e. Pattern 4. O, to, ko, mo, ho, ro, no, yo, so, o. Pattern 5. U, tsu, ku, mu, fu, ru, nu, yu, su, u. Besides, there are as many as 50 objects reflected in the mirror, based on the idea mirror mentioned above. It means 50 mental movements and 50 realistic movements, according to mental ones. And Kototama-wise, this is also called Mono no Michi or Mochi, which means 100 rows. Apply each of these 50 movement patterns to the 5-flow operation pattern above. That is, the order of the flow of power of each sound will be reflected in the way of thinking and action in reality. When reflecting them, each of these 5 patterns has corresponding field. It's very difficult to explain why this field is this pattern, so I will omit it here now. By the way, I'd like to introduce Mr. Kouji, who is a YouTuber dealing with Kototama. This site is all in Japanese, but in fact, he introduced an important thinking way. There is one important thing in the operation. As in the explanation of mirror above, when you operate, you must think about both your own mind as a subject and the mind as the object, which is reflected in the mirror. This means that oneself for the other person or others, the mind for the body, and oneself for the society. Moreover, by interchanging each other, we can bite, absorb, and understanding the other person's situation and feeling. That is, from the view of target person, it is very important for understanding cordially not only oneself but also the other person's mind and the real society. And it is important to do it each other. Each person must be aware of this, understanding each other, create a society, and both sides must be able to do it. Instead of excluding the other person, we must approach such a society step by step so that both sides can understand each other. It's very difficult to understand the other person and think from the other person's point of the view. But if you think at the beginning that it is impossible, it will be impossible forever. I think it will be important for us to be aware of our daily effort and to reflect ourselves in the mirror with a feeling of purity like a baby's mind without good or evil. This is the way of thinking of Japanese Kototama. About using the arrangement of Kototama with that feeling, the summarized Kototama power are as follows. Following that, for example, if you want to think of the routine life like clothing, eating, and living, you can check it on outline. The reason is because outline leads to the meaning of experience from the past, which is symbolized by the meaning of all. But I will omit its detail here now, because it's very complicated. The operation is as follows. O affects all the next 8 consonants in the sense of the take place. To appropriate that fit perfectly. Ko at this place. Mo, the place is enrich the inside. Ho, developed or grown for example, food, clothes, housing. Ro as concrete situation or forms, for example, aligned. No understanding, for example, fully utilized. Yo, let's get things well done in the term of times and space. So be aware of happiness about the moment. Or bring harmony through this flow. In other words, based on the idea of self-other benefit, while thinking about the other person or party. By being aware of this flow, society will really become happy. In the situation that someone seems to be thinking about others superficially, but only thinking about himself or herself, the difficult situation will still continue. Changing the situation is very difficult, but when each person is conscious of it every day, something in society may change little by little. Japanese has 4 seasons, and we have spent with nature. Therefore, there are many onomatopoeias for natural sounds. In fact, the voices of insects in Japan are reserved, and there are also various calls. Not only insects, but also animal voices have onomatopoeias in Japanese. Animals are also communicating, but they don't have as many languages as humans have. However, they get information by looking at each other's eyes and feeling the atmosphere. Of course, their bark is also one of the ways of communication. Giraffes, rabbits, deer, etc. also squeal, but not often. Perhaps they may be talking on the frequency that we cannot hear. When an animal that rarely squeals cries, it is quite disparate. For example, when a danger is imminent, an animal must inform a companion of it. Or when fighting for getting a female, he must threaten his opponent. Since there are few words, I think that if they don't put their own feelings into the sound of crying, their feelings will not be informed their companions. If they make the wrong call, they and their group may die. So, with exceptions, there is no lie in the contents and meanings of their bark. Because there are few words, they are responsible for a bark as messages. Humans have too many words, and the gratitude for words has become lighter. When there are few words, we might have to tell the other person accurately with a limited number of words. In the first place, the number of pronunciation itself might not have been so much. At the time, humans might also have been responsible for words like animals. New Testament, the Gospel by John, chapter 1 and section 1 and 3 says, "In the beginning was the Word." But spiritual evolution began from words, and eventually changed to material culture. But people gained wisdom. As it passed, there were more words and less responsibility for the words. And eventually, a deception was born. Humans learned a lie to make up for the deception, and they began to consolidate the lie with a lie. I think that words are originally what we feel.